There's this compulsive obsession that most of us seem to have with how we feel. We always want to feel good, and we never, ever want to feel bad. And so we end up in a cycle chasing stimulus, because if we have something to distract ourselves with, we don't have to face up to our emotions. We don't have to actually confront ourselves, and we don't have to deal with any of the real problems that we might be going through. See, maybe you are afraid to feel bad. And maybe, just maybe, if you sit in a room all by yourself for 20 minutes, it's kind of scary. I used to experience that, and it held me back for a really long time, because instead of spending time by myself and writing out my goals and working towards them and passionately really having that drive and energy to conquer the challenges, I was crippled and really stunned by my own inner conflicts. And so I would escape. I would run to video games and movies, not just for fun, but also to run away, most importantly, from all the problems that I was facing. Now, you might play video games or watch movies, or maybe even indulge in other stimulus like alcohol, and it's perfectly okay if it's coming from the right place and it's done in moderation. However, when you're running away from everything that's in the back of your head, all the past trauma and experiences, and you're just trying to cover up the fact that you're not really okay with yourself, it becomes a real issue. So ask yourself this: are you constantly checking your phone, or playing a game, or watching movies, or talking to people all the time busy, all the time doing something? And if so, why is there no time for you? Why is there no time to really be at peace? This is a symptom that there's something wrong. It doesn't mean that this is normal and it's just what it's supposed to be. Just because most of the world lives like this doesn't mean that you have to. Just because everybody around you runs around like a chicken with their head cut off doesn't mean you have to join them. So think about this. Do you feel resistance or uncomfort in yourself? When you sit by yourself, how do you feel? When there's nobody around, when you try to quiet your mind, what comes up? Take some time for that. Let it be there. Don't try to run away and rush on from it. It's not something to be run away from. It's something to face, to spend time with, to show you what you need to work on in yourself. Maybe it's physical discomfort. Well, you should probably take a look at it. Do you need to start exercising more? Do you need to eat better? Do you need to have better posture? What's going on? Maybe it's emotional. Maybe you feel really depressed. Well, why? A lot of people get diagnosed with all kinds of illnesses, and they've never really taken the time to just sit down and feel for themselves, what's going on with me? How do I feel? Where is this coming from? What is this? So a simple process that I like to use is identify, acknowledge, and resolve. Identify is, what is this? Where does this come from? Acknowledge is, oh, I see why that's here. It makes sense that I feel this way. I understand it now. And resolve is, here's what I'm going to do about it now. It's simple. It's relatively easy to do, but it's also really easy not to do. And that's why we trip up. Even myself, after over 5 years in deep personal development and personal growth, sometimes I forget that I just need some time to really see, check in, and feel what's going on. It's not some fancy perfect algorithm or some trick or some little app on your phone that's gonna fix you. It's you spending time with yourself and feeling into what's going on. Is there a problem here? Is there a conflict? Is there something that I'm trying to run away from? And again, it's okay to feel bad. We are conditioned to believe that we're supposed to be happy all the time. But that's not a healthy way to live. That doesn't let you process your emotions or experience what you're experiencing. It makes you try to shut everything down and then go stimulate yourself so you feel good. So instead of being sad when you're sad, you go watch a funny video. I'm not saying you can't cheer yourself up, ever. But if there's something going on in you, give it space and give it time. Don't try to rush past it all of the time. Try to give yourself some room to breathe and feel. Just be present for a moment. There's nowhere to rush to. We're all going to the same place. Remember, We're all gonna die. And for some people, that's super scary and like, oh no, oh, we gotta rush around and do all this stuff to pretend like I'm not gonna die. But you're gonna die. And if you take some time to really sit with that and understand that no matter what you do, you can't take any of this with you. You can enjoy, but enjoy all of it. Don't just enjoy the little peaks and constantly try to look for the next stimulation so that you can feel a little better. Enjoy the dips too. That contrast creates excitement. That contrast creates meaning for the ups. If you don't have any downs, there are no ups. It's just all flat because it's up all the time, which if it's up all the time, eventually it's just plateauing and it's the same thing. And you're not really growing and moving forward as much as you might be telling yourself that you are. You see, your emotions aren't a great indicator of how well you're doing or how fulfilled you really are. See, most of the time when you feel happy, it's because you're doing something that's exciting and stimulating, right? That's what most people label as happy. I try to look at happy more as fulfilled, deeply meaningful experiences. Not happy as in, oh, I'm doing this little thing that makes me feel good right now. I'm eating a cake, I'm happy. That's not happy. That's you're getting high on this sugar. Think about that. Is that really happy? What is happy to you? Define it. What does it feel like? What do you do when you're really happy and fulfilled, something meaningful? It's probably conquering some big challenge or deep personal growth, or maybe it's hitting one of your major goals, or even not even hitting it, just working towards it, making consistent progress. That's where you're gonna find that deep sense of fulfillment, not that little stimulus high that then goes away after 5 seconds, because after you eat the cake, usually there's a little crash. So stop constantly stimulating yourself and running away from it, and start constantly checking in on yourself and asking yourself, what's going on with me? How do I feel today? Is there any internal conflict? Are there any emotions that I need to process and give space to? And if so, give it time and space. Don't rush on. Don't try to skip. Don't try to get away from it. Embrace it. Let it breathe. And guess what? It'll serve you. It'll be on your side because it's leverage and it's energy and it's power. And you deserve to be really, truly happy, not temporarily feeling all right because something made you feel that way, but really knowing that you are a great person and that you are taking care of yourself and that you are growing and that you're giving space to evolve yourself fully, optimally, to become the best you.